In this video, we will learn about variables. So in the previous video, I have explained you about data types, various data types supported by Java. Java allows us to use various types of data in our program. So first of all, I will define variable. Variables are names given to the data. Or we can also say variables are used for storing data. And second thing, a variable must have some data type. So here I have an example. B is a variable and its data type is byte. And the value that I am storing is 5. So 5 will be stored in this B. So whenever I have to access this 5, I should use B. I should use the name B. So this 5 is having a name B now. The next thing about variable. Can I change the value of this variable? Yes, during execution of a program, you can change the value of a variable. You can keep some another data, another value inside this variable B. Then one more important thing. So when you want to use variable like B, it must be declared first. So this statement, the way it is written, byte B, right? Byte B. I will write it once again. So this statement is called as declaration. So variable must be declared. Now only B is declared, there is no value, it will have some default value 0. And if I want to store the value, then I will say byte B assign 5, then this is called as initialization of a variable. So the value is also stored in B, so this is called as initialization. So here if you see another example, int I, this is the declaration part and this is the initialization part. So a variable must be declared, and also if you want, you can initialize it with some initial value. The next point, which data type I should select? See, depending on the value, you can select the data type. We have already seen what is the range of values allowed in each data type. If you have a smaller value, go for byte. If it is larger than the capacity of byte, go for short or int or long. And if you have the values with decimal point, for example, here 25.3 decimal point is there, go for float. And if you have a very big value, then go for double. And if you have letters that are alphabets, then go for character. So what type of data you are storing, depending on that, you can select a data type of a variable. It may be byte or int or float or character. Now, one last important thing about a variable is that whenever we declare a variable in our program, we say that a memory will be allocated for that variable where this data will be stored. For example, when I say byte, B assign 5, so this variable name is B, and the value 5 is stored in this one. Likewise, if I say integer I, so this variable name is I, so this memory is for I, and in this 175 is stored in this memory. Now, how much memory a variable will occupy? Depending on its data type. Byte takes just 1 byte, and integer takes 4 bytes, right? And float also takes 4 bytes, character takes 2 bytes. We have already seen these things. So that's how, depending on the data type, a variable will occupy the memory. And this will happen during execution of a program. When you say run, the moment you say run, if you have variables in your program, they will occupy space in the main memory and there the values will be stored. So you should have this in your mind that when you are creating variable, some memory is allocated for them. More about the memory, details about that we will be learning in coming sections. So just I have given an introduction to this. Now let us declare a few variables and see how we can initialize them and also how we can change their values. Here I have the skeleton of a program. I will declare a few variables and I will show you. So still I am using Notepad, so in the coming sections I'll be changing the editor. As a beginner, you can start with the Notepad, it will be very easy. Then after that we can use IDs. So I'll be explaining you how to use other IDs. Let us declare a variable. So I will declare a variable of byte type and I will not initialize it. So let us display it and see system.out.println. I will say display B. Save it. Compile it. Javac variables.java. Yeah. I got an error. See, I cannot use the variables unless I have initialized them. Variable B might not have been initialized, so it cannot print because the variable is not initialized. So it's an error in Java. So I should initialize some value. I will initialize it as 5. Then I will save. Then I will compile. Now run Java variables. 5. Now can I change the value later on? Yes, I can change the value. Let it be 25. Then I will say again system.out.println. So I'll copy paste it. So already I have copied it. Now I'm pasting it. Now save, compile and run. Yes, it is changing. So you can declare a variable and store a value and initialize a variable before using it. And then later on, if you want, you can change the value in that variable. Now I will show you one more interesting thing. First of all, I will remove this one. Here, B is declared. To this, I will initialize value 130. And then afterwards, I am printing it here. Let us see what happens. Will it print or not? Save, compile. Oh, I got an error. Error says that incompatible types. It means that this data 130 is not compatible with byte. Why? Possible lossy conversion from int to byte. This is the error message I am getting. So it is saying that there is a loss of information. Why the information may be lost? See, if you remember in the previous video I have shown you the maximum value that can be stored in a byte variable is 127. And I am trying to store 130. It is beyond the range of byte. It cannot be stored. So that's what I am getting the error. So Java doesn't allow you to store any value beyond the range of any data type. So let us go back. Here I will change the value to 127. That is the largest number that I can store. Save it and compile and run. Yes, it is perfect. So up to 127 it is allowing. Even if I take 128, it will not allow me to store that value. So it's an error. So that's it. From this we can understand that whatever the value that you are going to store, depending on that, you have to select the data type. So if you have the value greater than 127, then you should go for another data type that is short, and in that you can store some larger value. And if you have the data that is larger than the capacity of short, then you have to take integer or long. I'll just take 100 here. Now if you have any data that is going to store decimal value, then you can declare a variable of type float. Float f assign like 25.3. It's a float number, decimal number. And if this is also having its range, if you have a number larger, very larger, then go for double. Or if you have character type variable, then say char, like C, assign capital A. So this is how you can declare the variables. And just for a practice, you try to declare these variables and also you try to print them. So I will print few of them. So I have B, then that is S for short, and I for integer, and C for or F for float. Let us try these. Save, compile, clear the screen and run. Yes, it is printing the values. So that's it. So I have shown you how to declare the variable and how to initialize them, right? And you have to select the variable depending on the type of data that you are going to store in them. So we have to learn more about the variable. So I'll just break the video. In the next video, I will show you the rules that you must follow for declaring the variable name. And these topics are very important, though these are very basics. Don't miss the videos. So watch the next video for the rules that must be followed for declaring variables.